Does your restaurant food cost look high to you? As we've seen, the cost of goods that we sell has skyrocketed with high inflation and logistical issues everywhere you look. Maybe you're looking to gain an edge because you need to control your food cost. What if I told you that you might be using the wrong numbers when calculating your food cost, and maybe your food cost isn't as high as you think? Stay with me and I'll explain. I'm Dave Scott Peters, restaurant expert, coach, and creator of the Restaurant Prosperity Formula. I've been coaching restaurant owners since 2003, and I'm really glad you're here to learn. Today, I want to talk about one of the reasons your restaurant food costs might look so high. Hey, before I do that, if you like tips and tricks like this, do me a favor, hit that like button, hit that subscribe button, and oh yeah, that bell so you're notified when my next video tip comes out. And for more tips and tricks for running a profitable restaurant or to hear restaurant owner success stories, make sure you tune into my podcast, Restaurant Prosperity Formula, found on all the popular podcasting services. Look, in a restaurant, there are three costs that cost you the most amount of money. And they are an empty chair. Yes, right, an empty chair. You pay all these bills to have people come into your restaurant. And if nobody's sitting in there with a wallet to pay you, that is the number one expense in your restaurant. After that is labor cost and food cost, especially if you're a restaurant where food is 60, 70, 80, 90% of what you sell. And right now, food costs have been doing nothing but going up. In fact, there are times where I find that I'm working on budgets with a new member. We're going through line by line on that budget. We get to food cost and it looks really, really high. And it's ultimately, I shouldn't say ultimately, many of the times, it's the fact that they're using the wrong number. Let me explain. The first question I ask when we get to that line item is, hey, member, are you taking inventories on a weekly basis to calculate your food costs, or are you just using purchases for your number? And I will tell you, probably 9 out of 10, if not 99 out of 100 people that come through my program are probably telling me they're using their purchases divided by sales. So already we're using the wrong number, and I'll talk about that. See, your food cost calculation is not what you purchase divided by sales. It's what you use. And in order to do that, you have to follow the food cost calculation. Beginning inventory plus purchases minus ending gives me use. What leaves the shelves, use divided by sales, gives you your food cost percentage. So I've got to have inventories. If I'm not taking inventories for value, not to place an order, but for value, then my purchases divided by my sales is not my food cost. Because the change in inventory can be too radical. I could have purchased a ton of product, but I had really low sales, so now my food cost looks falsely high. And the next month, my sales are high, but I had so much food on the shelves, I ordered very little that month and sales were high. My food cost looks falsely low. We need to determine what actually leaves the shelves. Whole nother topic. But that's where my accurate food cost number comes from. The next question is, I'll ask them, are you separating your products on your food distributor invoices for everything that's not food? Right? Food. Then what else is there? Well, there's everything else. There are things like what? Janitorial supplies, there's paper supplies, there's small wares, there's equipment, right? You don't sell bleach, do you? You don't sell toilet paper. Now in the pandemic, you might have. You don't sell foil, you don't sell wrap, you don't sell tongs. All things that could be on that same invoice that comes from your broadline distributor. And if you put them in there, it thinks you've used it as a product when it is not the cost of the goods you sell. And that's the simplest way to think of it. When you hear cost of goods sold, it's the cost of the goods only in which you sell. So when I sell a plate with food on it, it's only food. No Janny, no paper, asterisk. Search my channel on when paper is actually food. But the fact of the matter is this, food is food. So remember, cost of goods sold is the cost of the product that you bring in, by the way, divided by gross sales. That's the ring of the register before discounts. So you are not going to say, I sold $2,000 in sales today and I had $100 in comps and I'm going to put $1,900 as my sales. No, 2,000 is gross sales. Keep that in mind. So how do you ensure your food cost is accurate then? Well, one, you have to take weekly food inventories for value, not for an order. We're not counting stuff on there to say, hey, how much should I order? This is for value. That means I need to have a system in place where I've got inventory that I know everything on my shelves, what it costs me. Whether it's a product that I buy from a distributor or a product I make, a component in a dish like diced onions or soups, sauces, desserts, dressings. So the products I buy plus the products I make, what are the value of what I see on my shelf? The second thing is you need to categorize all your invoices into food, Janny, paper, smallwares, equipment, and so on. That's important to give us the right number. Hey, by the way, did you know that you can simplify this process? As somebody who created software from the ground up in my past company, I can tell you this. You can darn near automate this process. To do so, you need to add to your tech stack something called cost of goods sold software. Software that helps you order, take inventory, do recipe costing cards. You need to have that in your tech stack now. Every restaurant must. And for my members, I recommend a software program called Margin Edge. Imagine taking a picture of your invoice with your cell phone and just sending it up to the cloud and poof, done. All your invoices have been split up by category. All of your sales are already a part of that. All you've got to do is take an inventory and you'll know your food costs like that. Imagine setting up shelf-to-sheet inventory so you can take inventory accurately on a weekly basis in under an hour, which means you'll know your food costs within minutes of completing that inventory. And the best of all, you'll know your food cost is right. So I'm going to tell you right now, if your food cost looks high, you want to make sure you're using the right numbers first. And to learn more about Margin Edge, I want you to go to marginedge.com/DSP. That's www.marginedge, marginedge.com/DSP for David Scott Peters. And I'm going to tell you why I'm sending you there, because that's going to make sure you're talking to some of their best people. I do not get a commission. I do not get a kickback. I get no financial benefit from recommending them. What I know is, like me, they started their company as restaurant operators, not software people that made restaurant software. They were operators that needed to create a solution. And again, to a member, people love Margin Edge and what it's doing for them. So if you want to know the right numbers and know what your food cost should be, why not? Go to marginedge.com/DSP and get a demo. If you're tired of not being able to leave your restaurant because no one else knows how to run it, I want to make sure you know it doesn't have to be that way. You can leave your restaurant. It is possible to build a team of people who know how you want the restaurant to run with trained and responsible people in place. You can give yourself time away. What would you do if you had time away from your restaurant? Would you sleep better? Would your relationships improve? Would you feel more relaxed? These are all things you deserve to experience as a business owner. It's why we own our own businesses. If you would like to learn how to own a restaurant that doesn't depend on you to be successful, click the link in the description to watch a free video to learn exactly what you have to do. Also, be sure to subscribe to get my weekly tips and watch these 2 videos to get more information and guidance for running a successful restaurant.